found a forum at 3 in the morning, the way you find most things you wish you hadn't. A dead link inside a dead link inside a thread that hadn't been active since 2009. The URL was a string of numbers, no domain name, no .com, no dot, anything. Just digits, like someone had typed an IP address and forgotten to stop. The home page loaded slow, pale gray background, black text, no images. The kind of forum software that was already ancient when I was born. Thread titles stacked up like names on a memorial wall. Every single member was listed as deceased. Not offline, not inactive, deceased. The word appeared next to each username in small red letters, followed by 2 dates. Birth and death. I thought it was a memorial site, some grief-stricken relative keeping a digital graveyard tidy. But the last post had been made 6 minutes before I opened the page. The thread was called What the Soil Tastes Like. The original poster, a woman named Margaret Calloway, who died in 1987, was describing the texture of Earth at a depth of 6 feet. She wrote about it the way a chef writes about ingredients. Specific, casual, like she'd done it 100 times. The replies were worse. A man named David Inkster, dead since 2003, described the sound your own ribs make when the weight of the dirt finally cracks them. He said it was nothing like what you'd expect. I should have closed the tab. I know that now, but I kept scrolling because the posts were detailed in a way that felt impossible to fake. These weren't creative writing exercises. The language was wrong for that. Too flat, too matter of fact. The way a plumber talks about pipes. Then I found a thread titled with my name. Not my username, my actual name. First, middle, last, the kind of name that only appears on a birth certificate or a court document. The thread had one post, written by a user called Observer9. The post said, "He is reading this right now. He is sitting in the blue chair, the one with the tear in the left armrest." I was sitting in the blue chair. The tear in the left armrest was from my cat. I'd been meaning to fix it for 2 years. I typed a reply. I know I shouldn't, have. I asked who they were. The response came in 11 seconds. We've been waiting for you to find us. You've been very hard to reach. I asked how they knew my name, how they knew about the chair. The next reply was longer. It described my kitchen, the crack in the ceiling above the sink, the way I leave the bathroom light on at night because I don't like total darkness, things I had never told anyone. Then the posts started coming faster, multiple users, all deceased, all writing about me in the present tense, like I was a specimen under glass. Margaret Calloway wrote, "He'll stop sleeping properly in about 2 weeks. The dreams will start around the same time." David Inkster wrote, "The pain in his left knee will get worse before it gets better. It won't get better." They were predicting things. Small things at first, a phone call from my sister on a Tuesday, a power outage on Thursday. Both happened exactly when they said they would. Then Observer Neen posted again. A single thread titled, "How It Ends." I opened it. The post was 3 paragraphs long. I read the first one. He described the morning. Ordinary. Coffee tossed the sound of traffic outside my window. The second paragraph described me leaving the apartment, taking the stairs instead of the lift, which I always do. The third paragraph described what happens at the bottom of the stairs. I won't tell you what it said, not because I don't want to, because the date attached to that paragraph hasn't happened yet. It is 3 weeks from now. I've stopped going down the stairs. I've stopped leaving the apartment. I've stopped sleeping, but the forum keeps updating. Every morning when I wake up, there is a new post, always from Observer9, always the same message. You can't skip the appointment. my therapist said I needed a hobby that involved other people, not in person. She knew me well enough to know that in person was too much. I played indie games. Small, strange things nobody had heard of. My viewer count hovered around 12 to 15 on a good night. Most of them were lurkers. I didn't mind. I liked the feeling of talking into a room where someone was listening, even if they never said anything. The first time it happened, I thought it was a glitch. It was a Wednesday. I'd been streaming for about 3 hours. Most of my regulars had left. The viewer count dropped to 4, then 3, then 2. At exactly 2:47 a.m., the counter jumped to 41. Not gradually, not one by one, 41, all at once. Like someone had opened a door. The chat filled up immediately, but the usernames were wrong. They were all variations of the same phrase. I can see, UFO. 01, I can see, UFO. 02, I can see, UFO. I can see. 03, 03, all the way up to 41. I laughed it off, said something like, alright, very funny, which one of you set this up? The chat was moving, but it was the text. It was just the usernames appearing and disappearing, cycling through the same list over and over. Then I can see U17 typed the message. Just one line behind you by the shelf. I turned around. Nothing, just my bookshelf, the pile of laundry I kept meaning to fold, the closed door to the hallway. I told the chat there was nothing there. I can see, U17 replied. It moved when you turned. It is fast. I checked my webcam feed, the small preview window in the corner of my screen. My face looking back at me, pale in the blue monitor light, and something else in the top right corner of the frame, just above my shoulder. There was a shape, dark, thin in a way that didn't look right. Like someone had stretched a person vertically and left the proportions wrong. I spun around in my chair. Nothing, empty room. I looked back at the webcam feed. It was still there. I could only see it through the camera, not with my own eyes, not when I turned, only in the feed, only on the screen. The chat went frantic, all in usernames typing at once. The same message repeated in a wall of text. Don't look away from the screen. Don't look away from the screen. Don't look away from the screen. I didn't I kept my eyes on the feed, on the shape. It was standing still, just behind my chair, close enough that if I leaned back, I'd touch it. I can't see, 17 typed. It knows you can see it now. That changes things. I ended the stream, pulled the plug on the router, Saturday in the dark, for a long time, listening to the building settle around me. I didn't stream again for a week. Then I told myself it was a prank. Someone had hacked my feed, overlaid an image. That was the only explanation that let me sleep. I went back on the following Wednesday. Different game, earlier start. I told myself I'd end the stream before 2:47. I didn't make it. At 2:47 a.m., the viewer count jumped. 68 this time. All the same usernames, all the same phrase. But the shape was closer. In the webcam feed, it was no longer behind the chair, it was beside it. I could see details now. The skin was the color of wet newspaper. The eyes were open but not looking at anything. Just a line, no lips. I can see. U17 typed. It only exists between the lens and the screen. That is where it lives. In the signal, another user, I can see, U33, type something I didn't. Do you want to read? Every time you turn the camera on, it gets a little closer. It has been traveling for a long time. You are almost at the end of the distance. I asked them what happens when it reaches me. The chat went silent. All 41 68 usernames. Stop typing at the same moment. Then I can see U17 posted one final message. That is what we're here to watch. I haven't turned on my webcam since, but sometimes, late at night, I catch my reflection in the dark monitor. And for just a moment, before my eyes adjust, I think I can see something standing behind me. It is closer than it was last week. Started with a post about breakfast, not my breakfast, not exactly, a post from an account I didn't follow, with no profile picture and no bio. The text read, oatmeal again. Milk, no sugar, eaten, standing at the kitchen counter, because the table is covered in mail. That was my breakfast. That morning standing at the counter, because the kitchen table was buried under 3 weeks of unopened envelopes. I scrolled past it. Coincidence. Everyone eats oatmeal. Everyone has a messy table. The next day, another post from the same account. This one described the commute. The 7:42 train, third carriage from the front. A book no one has heard. Read with the left hand while the right hand holds the strap of a brown canvas bag. That was my commute. That morning. Same train, same seat, same book. I bought it from a second-hand shop 2 days earlier and hadn't told anyone I was reading it. I checked the account. No followers, no following, 31 posts. All text, no images. Every single one described a moment from my day. Not summarized, not vague. Precise down to the details I hadn't noticed myself. One post described the way I tie my shoes. Left lace over right, then a double knot, because the laces are too long. Another described the sound my front door makes when I lock it. A click, then a scrape. The scrape is the deadbolt catching on the warped frame. I reported the account. Stalking. Harassment. I don't know which category fit best. The platform sent me an automated reply saying they review it within 48 hours. The posts kept coming every day, always appearing in my feed between other content, as if the algorithm had decided this was exactly what I wanted to see. Maybe it was. I kept reading them. I could stop reading them. Then the posts started describing things I hadn't done yet. A post at 6 a.m. described what I would wear that day. It was correct. A post at noon described the conversation I would have with a colleague at 3 p.m. Word for word, including the part where I lied about my weekend. I checked the timestamps. Every future post was dated and timed before the event it described. Hours before, sometimes days. The algorithm wasn't recommending content to me anymore. It was documenting me, past, present, and future. I tried to delete my account. Went through the whole process. Settings, privacy, delete account, confirm again. The screen loaded for a moment, then displayed an error. This action cannot be completed at this time. I tried again. Same error again. Same error. I tried from a different browser. Same error from my phone. Same error. That night, a new post appeared. The first one with an image. It was a photograph of my apartment building, taken from the street. My window was lit. I could see my silhouette moving inside. The timestamp said it had been taken 40 minutes earlier. While I was making dinner, I closed all the curtains. Every window, even the bathroom. The next morning, another image. My hallway, taken from inside the apartment. From the corner near the ceiling, where the smoke detector blinks its small red eye. I unplugged the smoke detector, took it apart. Nothing inside but batteries and a circuit board. I put it back together, put it back on the ceiling, told myself it was nothing. That was 2 days ago. This morning, there was a new post, no image, and the date. The date is 3 days from now. The text says, final image, bedroom, 3:14 a.m. Taken from inside the closet. I've moved the bed into the living room. I've emptied the closet. I've nailed the closet door shut with 6 nails. But I know it doesn't matter. The posts have never been wrong. Not once, not a single detail. And tonight, when I checked my feed one last time before putting the phone down, there was a new post. No text, no date, just an image. My bedroom. Right now, empty. The closet door with its 6 nails is open.